Yep, there we are. We are live for another week of the Bogus Hangout. And thankfully,
You're good. Oh, there you go.
Whoa, what happened?
We lost Ammon.
What the fuck?
Well,
Oh, sorry, not my hangout. Anyway.
Welcome to Bill and Ammon's Bogus Hangout. Hopefully, we'll get Ammon back. I think he's returned.
Yeah.
He's not used to the buttons. He was clicking the wrong one there.
I saw Tim come in and suddenly my browser disconnected.
I think we were going to have a hummingbird versus rank brain.
No, we're not doing that yet. We have to introduce anyone because I know exactly where we're going. So let's
we done two introductions here.
I was thinking we could go around in a row and say which one we preferred, hummingbird or rank brain.
Oh, piss off! Are you not doing it? No, plead the fifth, even though I'm a Canadian. Forget it. So, I don't know, Bill, what were you doing up at 3 o'clock this morning? Were you sitting around thinking about hummingbird and rank brain?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I figured as much. Yeah, because, you're pretty quick enough.
By that time of day, he was actually thinking about rank bird and hummingbird.
All right, so I'm not sure if it was Chase. I think it was Chase's group, but somebody had shared an article which you kind of dug into a bit more. I think what were some of the premises in there, which was content targeting, click-through rates. Yeah. All right, so Bill, what'd you make of that piece of awesome?
It had me puzzled that these people were able to have careers selling training, and they didn't get lynched.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, attaboy, Doc. I was going to say, whoa.
It's early.
I've been away for a year, man. I've been away for a year. Ammon's been away for a while. We start getting pissed here. There's still time for that.
It may well be one of those careers where they've decided to do it. Nobody's actually bought it yet.
Oh, no. People are buying it. You know what I mean? Again, there's So, Ammon, I was also gone for about a year. I haven't done a hangout, didn't do anything, you know what I mean? And then I was in a couple of groups and stuff, and I started seeing so much crap that I had to come back out and start putting out fires again, and it's kind of what I do. But, there's people buying into just about any and every theory you could throw out there. As long as it sounds intelligent, people are buying it, and that's the unfortunate part.
They don't wait for it to sound intelligent. You must be going to some very exclusive clubs.
Oh, I am. Oh, yeah.
Half the time the groups we see, the stupider it sounds, the more likely they are to believe it.
So, anyways, Bill,
you get a guy who sells pay-per-click telling them that rank brain is all about click-through rates, and they'll swallow it up.
Well, sure, because that saves them having to actually go learn about vectors. It saves them having to go learn about what happened with humming. It saves them about doing any of that. They can just take whatever they read on some stupid group, go regurgitate it to a client, and sound like a genius, and invoice them for another fucking month. Sorry, Bill. I'm swearing on your hangout. Not mine.
So the thought process behind click-through rates and rank brain was that rank brain is machine learning, and machines learn by looking at what people click upon.
Really?
Yeah, so that was...
I didn't even get that far because you were already losing it, so I figured you'd be telling me, and here we are. Really? So
I ran into a video today with Eng and Elias. Is that his name?
Yeah. Is that the happiness ranking factor?
Yeah, that guy.
Did you see the look on his face? Did you see the look?
At any rate, he said rank brain was did use some click analysis, and click analysis has been around for a long time. It's not new. Anyone who thinks that you can move rankings and sustain them using clicks on the SERP is not very smart. Let's put it that way. That's what I'll say about it. I've been doing some research around the ambiguous query spaces, and that seems to be a part of
right. But again,
what Brain is doing.
But what somebody's understanding of click analysis or implicit user feedback, what someone's understanding of that when a Googler says it is in their SEO mind, meaning ranking. When you know, in my time talking to Matt and other people over there, it's a search quality thing.
Actually,
well, it's a search quality thing. Meaning we implemented this change. What happened? We implemented this change. What happened? That click analysis gives them a search quality understanding. Doesn't mean it's a ranking factor element. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
it just helps them understand.
Interesting. It's mostly Gary who gave me the clues regarding where RankBrain fit in the picture after some of the other parts, and it was him specifically that said it was for places where they didn't have click data because it's for brand new queries. That is, of course, where RankBrain is particularly strong, and where you're most likely to see it is queries that haven't turned up before.
Which is, you know, still back to the original things they said as far as disambiguous queries and so forth. Right. So, but, you know, again, I used to talk to Matt, you know, a couple times a week, like in email, and we'd have these kind of IR discussions. And SEOs love to run with shit. You know, they hear someone say something like click-through. Do you guys use click-through? Sure. Now, did he say that's a ranking factor? No. You know, it's more often than not a search quality signal, meaning we made some changes to the algorithms of this type, and we want to see if they're working better or not. So we have historical data on click-throughs. We have historical data on pogoing and everything else. We like to look at our own work and say, did this one work better? This one work better? Yeah, this one worked better. We'll throw that one away, and the continuous improvement process keeps going on. But when they give that sort of veiled answer to anybody in our industry, which I don't know why they bother, they run with it and say, well, it's a ranking factor, which I don't believe to be the case.
Well, I think too, Dave, the big problem is that so many people tend to think that things that affect ranking are all direct factors. And there are very, very few, you know, direct factors anymore that will stand on their own.
Well,
everything is going to have an indirect effect as well, even if it does have a direct effect. And usually there's going to be a half a dozen or more things that play together before you're going to see any effect on something.
Well, remember the old days?
I've never been a fan of ranking, you know, chasing rankings anyway.
You remember the old days? They used to say it will affect X number of queries or X percentage of queries.
Yeah.
But affecting them isn't the same as being a scoring, a boosting, or a dampening factor. You know, that's ranking. You know, does it change the complexion of that search result? Sure. But does that mean it's an actual no?
Well, that's, you know, going back to Matt, he was such a wordsmith that, you know, he would think through and say something like it has an effect, knowing full well that he's not saying it has a direct effect. And unfortunately, he was just gauging our collective intelligence a little bit higher than it probably deserved. Because everybody wants to jump on every, you know, at first everything affected page rank, and then everything affects ranking. And, you know, it just doesn't work that way anymore.
So Bill, is there any stopping this? Like, I know it's been getting in your claw the last week or so, but I don't know. Like, you know, you can talk to you blue in the face. Is there any stopping this? I don't know, because I think we've said it all a million times.
Have we ever stopped LSI?
Oh, no. Don't you goddamn start, man!
So if Hummingbird and RankBrain both work by rewriting queries to get better meaning out of them, they have nothing to do with ranking whatsoever. But there are things you can do to make your pages rank better for those somewhat ambiguous meanings. Like use better structured data on your pages.
Can we
more precise?
Can we agree that user metrics are somewhat of a ranking factor?
No, we can't.
No.
We can. Query submission is a user metric that's a ranking factor.
And again, you know, because you're trying to talk about bounce rates, time on page, scrolling, blah blah blah, or explicit factors like
that.
Okay, well, that's what implicit user feedback is. That's what behavioral metrics are. That's what they're called.
I'm talking about stuff like pogo sticking, click-through rates, dwell time.
No, we no idea. When bounce rate exists, we have no idea why somebody left a page.
It's just interesting because YouTube's like main ranking factor is average session duration, so we know that that's important there.
Yeah, it's different. Okay, so a buddy of mine used to have a page, Steve Gerenser, that a friend of his actually, Dave did. That literally the answer was a one-line thing. So people would search that, go to this page, see the answer, click back, go to the second result, click through there just to make sure that that answer was right, and then in that session either close Google or go on to something else. Now, because they pogo stick back and went to the second one, does that mean the first one wasn't right? No. So that's what a search engineer would call noise.
Well, I mean, of course, on user intent, right? If it's like for a medical-based search query, Google's going to be assuming that it's going to people are going to pogo stick for different information. But what about something more of like a buy keyword?
Again, you're talking more of search quality, meaning how they assess how people are viewing their results, which could change things, could have adaptations in a query space, whatever. Is that when they look at a page, does it rank it higher? No, but it's a signal, but it's a different kind of signal. It's not a scoring mechanism. It's more of an internal thing. You know what I mean? Like you can't sit there and with any kind of half a brain and tell people to, you know, get their bounce rate down and it's going to raise their rankings. That's not, even if you think you've got anecdotal evidence, that's not what happened. Google's just looking at the results. How do you deal with the click bias? Click bias means that 60-odd% click on the first one, 35% click on the second one, third one. So what, you're going to rank everyone in that top 10 at first and then second, all at different times, just so you could see which one is better? No. But which you never see. We've never seen the top 10 all shuffle around, because that's what you'd have to be saying. Because you'd literally have to give each of them that bias to be able to tell through click bias which one was better. So no, it makes no sense as a rankings factor.
But I mean, couldn't we like,
not to mention it's kind of spammable.
Couldn't we look at like bounce rate as like a lower bounce rate leading to higher conversion rates, which leads to less pogo sticking?
You're talking correlation,
not necessarily. Yeah, that's I washed my car. I washed my car today. It rained. That's why it rained, because I washed my car. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and you're assuming that pogo sticking is always a negative, and of course that's not true. When people are shopping, they will often want to look at a dozen sites to shop around and get prices. And the one they eventually buy from may not be the first one. It may not be the last one. It's the one that had the best price. What Google are looking at with click data is, here's this algorithm. How long did somebody spend having to interact with this? Did they have to refine it? Did they get a satisfactory?
Right. How did their search task? Did they have to reformat 3 times? Did they, did they finally give up? Like, how did the search task go? So it's now evaluation. They use data like user metrics, otherwise known as implicit user or expert feedback, to analyze their own work, not us.
Yeah. And I wondered at one point too, is when they started putting more and more brief answers in the SERPs, I wondered if that might have been an experiment on their part or an effort on their part to try to filter a lot of that noise out. Because it would have that effect. It would remove a lot of that noise to enable them to better gauge their quality.
I think it literally was just a usability metric, because even then Google was starting to think of mobile first. And for a mobile user, sometimes clicking any link is difficult. So if they were after a one-word answer or one-paragraph answer, and you provide it and they're satisfied, that's brilliant for them. It's faster, it's less bandwidth for the user. Perfect.
And again, Chase, that discussion's, people have been talking about that for at least 10, 12 years in minimum. So, which is of course always been Bill's fault. If he didn't start writing about patents and stuff, nobody would have known any of this stuff, so we would have been fine. So at the end of the day, I just blame Bill. It's much easier that way.
Yeah. One of the interesting parts that might help, Chase, is I often try and explain, sometimes click data can work against you. Sometimes the way that search engines use it can cost you positions. And sometimes that's a good thing for you. You know, if you've got a site that regularly, you know, is opened and doing quite well, you answered a question, but because you rank so high, people have to go back and cross-check, and they find in another one that when you're the second or third answer, it's more reassuring, and your perfection of answer is good. Then actually, when Google are looking at the different algorithms and which one has the least clicks and the fastest way to user satisfaction, it may be the one where your brilliant site actually was ranking the lowest.
This is where I need one of those crickets things, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really depends on user intent, though.
No, but it's not what you think, though. It's what Google engineers think. You know, again.
And it's not done on, you know, oh, here's this SERP. Let's see how we rank this. Click-through data is used to rank algorithms. Google have many different algorithms, many different tweaks.
With thresholds and everything in between, right?
Yeah. One of the ones we talk about is query demands freshness. When somebody's asking about something that almost certainly relates to news, you know, or celebrities, things where they're probably going to want recent results.
Right. Like, let's say you search for an entity of some kind today. It could be New York City or, you know, whoever, a human being, whatever, a football team. You could search it today and see one set of results. But if something big happens in the news tomorrow, all of a sudden news universals will show up. All of a sudden other things will show up that are more temporally immediate. That's what he's talking about with query deserves freshness. Do, you know, research that sometime. But literally, yeah, that'll change the face of a SERP overnight if something happens in the news.
But do you think that has to do with the actual news itself or the user intent behind the news searches?
It's just Google's out. It's called query deserves freshness, and it picks up temporal anomalies in the system. And temporal meaning timing and so on. Again, like none of it, like, you know, you could look like sort of, we had the whole hummingbird thing where we saw some sort of rearrangements as far as more, a lot of, okay, before hummingbird, there was some sort of quasi query spaces where you would have, you know, mostly transactional results. Why? Because they're the ones out paying for links. They're the ones out hiring SEOs. They're the ones doing this and that. So, you know, Google tried to mix a bit more of that in and out. But any of us have been in this game long enough know that at seasonal times of year, like Christmas and other things, you'll see more transactional results. So your client might go from 10 up to 4 or something over Christmas or Valentine's if they're selling chocolates or flowers, but then they'll drop back down. Again, Google has temporal elements to it as well, not just query deserves freshness. There's historic and temporal elements to how they rank things as well. So again, there's no cookie cutter. There's no one answer solves everything. You've got to understand how this thing works from the inside out and spend years watching it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is it. Different queries can be identified as having different specific intents that use slightly different algorithms. So yeah, you've got your ones. Okay, this one, this query tends to be associated with knowledge gathering, deep research. So actually it favors older, more established textbook kind of results. You know, the real authority sites would be the strongest thing there. Then you've got others where, yeah, it's absolutely, we don't care about the authority. What we care about is how fresh is this. You know, it's great when the news sites are in there, but you do not want a Wikipedia article from 6 years ago for answering.
Exactly. You could put in, you know, Manchester United today and get a Wikipedia thing, but if some bloody trade happens or some major scandal happens and you put in Manchester United tomorrow, bam, the world changes. And now that's an extreme case, Chase, but understanding those concepts are important to anything we do as SEOs. You know what I mean? You got to be fluid and understand the different algorithms and how they relate. And Nick, holy shit, Nick! Good to see you, man. So I haven't seen Nick in goddamn ages, man. There's another. Hold on, I want to look at. How's it going there, buddy? Holy shit, I haven't seen you in forever. Good to see you, man. Oh, we can't hear you, man.
He's muted at the moment.
Yeah.
Mouse over the video feed, and you get the icon to turn your mouse. There you go.
Oh, there he is. You got him muted.
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I remember when you were a baby in the industry. Now you're like an old man. You're like a wow.
Yeah. Well, you guys got to keep around, because otherwise, I'm getting too old. This is. I still see myself as one of the youngest. I mean, it's it's what like hanging out with you guys.
Don't worry, we'll all be dead soon, Nick. You'll be up there. Don't worry.
Dress up. Yeah. No, I keep going to events where I'm the oldest person now. It's very worrying. Yeah, very worrying. Yep.
Youngster, whippersnapper.
Yeah, straight joke. You're listening.
This is it. Back in 2000, I joined a startup, and I was the oldest person in the company at 30.
Wow.
Well, the bubble days, bro. The bubble days, man.
Yeah.
1998 to 2001, dude. The money was flowing everywhere. Everyone had a stupid idea.
This may be the first time that's happened, but you now know it's going to happen more often.
Oh, it's going to happen. It's happening again at the moment. Definitely. This Bitcoin stuff's crazy. You guys doing that?
No. But there's a time, if we last long enough, there's going to be SEOs that weren't, that were like in diapers when we started doing this. It's like, how old are you? I'm 25. Oh God, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, somebody commented the other day in a thread, I believe, if I recall right, Ammon, it was who in the world you were. And somebody said, Ammon, if it was you, they were saying, well, he was practicing SEO before you were born.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to do this, boys, because Doc was wearing the fingerless gloves the other day. I'm sorry, Doc, you're all dressed up in a winter jacket there. What's the temperature today?
Can't hear you.
No idea. I'm afraid to look.
Come on, take a guess. Dude, he was doing it last week. Was 65-degree weather.
I'm guessing it's down in the mid-50s.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Terry, it was like minus 23 Celsius the other day here.
Yeah, it's a low 60s here.
Yeah, I know.
You guys will be putting on long pants and putting the tank tops away here shortly, eh?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I had a guy on Twitter who said that he'd been doing SEO as long as he'd been alive as long as I'd been doing SEO.
Yeah. Well, it's getting there, dude. I'm at the 20-year mark right now, so.
I had a lot of people coming to my teams who were born in after 2000. That's crazy. 17. We got our first 17-year-old in our team, which was crazy. That was it's incredible. Yeah. That's why you leave agencies, Bill. You see, you get too old and you get too expensive, and they kick you out because they can get ahead of SEO who's only done 4 years.
Well, that's it. Yeah, no, Nick, anytime I see a post somewhere, someone going, looking to hire a senior SEO, I'm like, yeah, you can afford it.
Senior SEO, 4 or 5 years experience. Yeah.
I'm sorry, a senior SEO should not look like a junior.
I tell you, it's the clients that get upset about it. This is the older you get, and you speak to the people on the client side, and I got so wound up at big agency that I won't name, but you'd send execs in, and there'd be sort of pseudo creative directors, and they're going in asking for 70, 100K for a TV campaign, and the clients are wondering what's this got to do with SEO, and why do you think you're a creative director at 23? It's very confusing for people on the client side.
I think it was a typo. It came out as creative director, but when they first typed it into their phone, it was crayon user.
I like that things getting more technical again now. That's good. I mean, have you guys noticed that? I mean, it seems to me like it's kind of going back that way now.
Yes and no. I mean, there's waves of it, isn't there? There's still plenty of people doing link building. It's just people sort of heard enough about that for the moment. And now they're looking for the next magic bullet, which of course still won't work because they're treating them as magic bullets instead of something they've got to work at.
So I'm looking forward to the first blockchain-based search engine.
Blockchain-based
new kind of spam for certain. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I've done a little bit of Bitcoin. It scares me too much. It's yeah, the rises on it are just insane. It can't last. Nothing go up that much. I think it's gonna be a lot of very, very upset people.
Right. Instead of cryptocurrency, though, I've seen land registries using blockchain, which makes sense because title insurance is nuts, and land title tracking really needs to be updated.
I think there's a lot of really good uses. I mean, they said for car ownership, for medical records. I mean, there's a lot of use cases for it. So I think the technology will be good, but I don't think people are separating the technology from the sort of the investment stroke gambling bit at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all it is. You know, it's glorified gambling. And that's basically at the top levels, they don't even really make the distinction.
It's a license to print money.
Yeah, you're right, Bill. It's just it's a license to print money at the moment. I mean, it's gambling, but it's almost like guaranteed return at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really strange. I had some Ethereum that doubled last week. It was crazy. Yeah. Again, I missed it. I missed it by too far. I should have bought some coins. What was it, 2004, 2005? I think I've got a history of missing every big opportunity on the web. So
you're not alone.
Yeah, we've all been through it. We should have had domains. We should have had Bitcoin.
There was a point in time where they were giving domains away for free. You just had to ask for them.
Yeah, that would be good. If you four-letter domains, Bill, that's it. We could have made it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was it. You know, at first, all domains were free. You just, said what you wanted to be yours, and
yeah. So I remember I got one of my first domains was for my end of year uni project, end of dissertation, but it's not really that big. It was only sociology degree. But yeah, usually at the end of the degree, you go around and you ask sort of 20 people some questions, and it's not really a survey. It's just all your friends really. So yeah, I kind of bought sociologyproject.com. And I put up a website with a form, and then tried to get a lot of people online to fill it out. And then did quite well. Got several hundred. It was good. But then the funny bit was at the end of the degree, because then the whole sociology department got together a board to basically question me and make sure that I handed back this domain. Because obviously I couldn't leave the university owning something like sociologyproject.com, which might be worth. It was a condition of me getting my degree is that I handed back this domain to the university, handed back any ownership, and signed it all over. Because they weren't really sure what domains were, but they were definitely sure it belonged to the department.
Yeah. It's always interesting. It's interesting how much of PageRank intellectual property belongs to Stanford, because that's where the kids worked on it.
Yeah. No, if you do it at uni, it's their property. It's crazy. But yeah, it's a bit tough. Well, keep my form. That's fine.
And they wonder why a lot of countries have been falling behind that used to have very good free education systems, and then started making sure that less and less people went to university by trying to charge more and more for it.
I know one country you're talking about.
America's crazy. That's crazy money to go to university in America.
The only thing that's worse is the medical industry over here.
Yeah. No, that's way too expensive. We've still got the NHS at the moment, for a little while.
We were headed that direction with Obamacare, and now we've got some knothead undoing it all. So.
I saw his tax thing went through though, so that's good.
Oh yeah, that was peachy.
So it's only 2 more years.
Let me tell you how pleased I am for you and Brexit too, Nick.
Oh yeah, that's going really well. Yeah, that couldn't be going any better. Yeah. We're just the thing that worries me most about this whole Brexit thing is we've all realised how utterly useless all our politicians and establishment actually is. It's not. Maybe it's not such a good thing for everyone to see behind the curtain. It's everyone's going to. I think a lot of people.
That was exactly one of the reasons why I did vote for Brexit. Is that our politicians were hiding behind the EU. Oh, this is the EU's fault, and that's the EU's fault. And no, it's not, because half of these things we have a choice over, and you're evading taking any responsibility by leaving it until the EU come up with a directive on it. Yeah. And then you're deciding to go along with that directive because, again, you're still failing to, take up your responsibilities as a politician representing the people of this country.
They're talking Cal exit here in California.
Okay, we can talk fucking politics. I'm gonna go.
Let's get back to
Put a religion next. Why not? Oh my fuck. Okay, hey. I have one that I'll cross a few boundaries, including politics and SEO. And all right, this whole decision down in the States with the net neutrality stuff, is that going to affect not obviously potentially consumers, but does anyone think that affects SEO or marketing in any way?
Net neutrality? Yeah.
Okay, so how do you figure that's going to affect like marketers like ourselves?
Okay, how does site speed impact rankings? If Verizon decides you should be slower, will your websites drop in rankings?
No. Consumers will just go to another company. I don't believe for a minute that will be what happens.
What do you think we can choose which company we get service through?
Terry, out here in the rural parts of Canada, they've all got deals, so only one provider is available in each area. We do not have competition out here. I cannot go to a competitor. So what's going to stop my guy from throttling something because I can't go anywhere? Out in rural Canada, there is no options. They've all divided up the territories amongst the 3 different companies.
You got Rogers, haven't you? Yeah.
We got Rogers, we got Bell.
You miss how uneducated
I don't think it will affect sites. It might affect Netflix, sure, but little mom-and-pop sites, I don't think so.
Well, we get. We talk quite a lot of this. I've been in telco for a little while now, so I've kind of got the other side of the argument, and people are using more and more bandwidth, and they want everything in high res, want everything in high quality video, and it's putting a lot of pressure on the network. So the people who are providing the network are getting. I can understand it slightly from their point of view. That they're
but I don't think that's really net neutrality, because that would just be raising your price and your bandwidth limits across the board.
Oh yeah. But then
I think the concern with net neutrality is that certain things will get preference.
Yeah, because what they do is they talk about quad play. And quad play is basically where we sell your mobile, your home telephone number, your TV, but then we'll start serving content. And some of those content deals are with people like Virgin or other content providers, and you get those kind of 0 rated over your network. So then you will get some content that's then preferentially served by the telco provider, and then you do get a situation where some people are have arrangements with the telco and some people don't. And I think that's a bit that worries people.
It reminds me a bit of the early days with Alta Vista, and particularly with AOL. When we're talking about biased providers, AOL was a law unto itself, because when you got the internet from AOL, you didn't actually get the internet. You got AOL's cache. And anything you requested, your browser didn't go and get it. AOL sent off a bot to grab it, cache it, and then serve it.
But that was the opportunity. That was insanity. We had that at Vodafone as well. Apparently, we had a gateway page, and when you control the gateway, you control the advertising. I mean, they let that go. It was absolute insanity. They could have retained that control and just served adverts over everything. Somehow we convinced them all to give that up.
Yep.
It's mad. But yeah, I think
there was still an awful lot of people who were with AOL for all its problems, because they didn't use it enough for it to matter to them. B, some of them, that was the service they knew. They had nothing to compare it against, and they may run into a lot of people talking about other experiences, but they haven't had them. They don't know. And people, often stick with the thing they do know rather than risk the unknown.
The AOL CDs were everywhere for a while. Here,
ashtrays, everything, creative uses.
Oh, you couldn't go to an internet company and not find that the coasters were AOL discs for an awful long time.
Yeah.
Well, as a matter of fact, I used to work in the plastics industry. And the price of polycarbonate shot up 230% when AOL started sending those things out.
Yep.
And dropped by almost a third within a week of the time that they suspended that. And we're talking about hundreds of millions of tons of resin per year in polycarbonate that was consumed.
Yep.
Hundreds of millions of tons. So, yeah, you could build a skyscraper out of AOL discs.
I think here in the States, we have sort of two different situations. We have people that are on mobile who have a choice of providers, and then we have people that are getting service in their homes from an ISP. And if you're getting service from an ISP, usually they have a monopoly that's been worked out with the local city government. Now, I'm making a pretty broad statement. That's the way it is here in California. I think it is in most of the U.S.
And here in Mexico, we have two choices. There's the cable company and the phone company.
Pretty much here, too. Yeah, so there's a cable monopoly, I should say. Sorry, Doc, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No problem.
In Canada, the cable company is the phone company.
Well, actually, for me, it is too, because I dropped the landline a long time ago and go VoIP. That's probably the last 7 or 8 years.
I've got a choice of two different cable companies where I'm at right now.
Really?
But that wasn't the case out east.
Well, here in Oceanside, and actually in the part of Carlsbad where my parents live, Bill, there's only one cable company available. And so the point I'm trying to get to is that although I usually would say that the right should to make business decisions should stay with the person that invested in the network or the infrastructure, when you begin talking about a monopoly, it's a little bit different. I think there's a case to be made for consumer protection.
Right. Time Warner is the one serving me right now, but AT&T was talking about buying them not too long ago. And AT&T was the other one available in the area. Now, I would have hated to have seen a monopoly of just one of the companies, because I remember what that was like back east, and the prices were a lot more on the East Coast than they are here.
Really?
Yeah.
I recall last time during this discussion, when it came up before the last vote and the law was changed, that it was Google and Netflix that were the companies that were really worried about net neutrality being dropped, for the simple reason, because that was the reason that the companies that had a vested interest wanted net neutrality dropped, because those particular companies, right, are basically running off the backs of the providers. Like Netflix, if it had to provide the actual bandwidth, right, they couldn't give you a $6 subscription.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there's no reason that they should, because the companies provide that. They charge us for that. You know, I pay an ISP for bandwidth. They don't create any content at all. In fact, the only reason...
The only times that I've gone over my limit for bandwidth, and I had what they called an unlimited account, found out later it was a certain amount. The only time I've gone over is using Google Hangouts or Netflix. Only times I've gone over.
But it was you using it. Why would Google pay for that bandwidth? Because it was you that was consuming it.
And let's face it, the only reason that you've upgraded to an unlimited, the reason that your ISP is making that money on that package with all that bandwidth is because a lot of people are out there producing content that uses enough of it that you pay for it. So no, you know, they're trying to have it both ways. They've already charged us for having more bandwidth.
That's why I pay $100 a month for bandwidth.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple for me. If I have one of these companies where, you know, I've got the unlimited bandwidth package, and then they try and say, oh, yeah, but we didn't intend you to use that much. I am going to take them to court, and I am going to switch provider at the same time.
That's against the law.
Because it's false advertising, which I am going to have them in small claims court for breach of contract. And, you know, I will not use that company ever again, because if they've said unlimited...
I think it's a case, though, I mean, you are right. If they sold unlimited, it should be unlimited. And this is why you have companies like 3 that have spent forever trying to get rid of everyone now, because they made the mistake of selling everything unlimited. But the bigger problem is that they haven't invested in the infrastructure. So they're making a lot of money. They're expecting people not to use it. Video usage, I think, grew by about 30–40% last year. So it's insane. The amount of usage it's going up far faster than the network can provide capacity for. And that's the problem.
Yes and no, because at the same time, they're the ones who, you know, keep coming out. Oh, you've got to get 3G, and it's got 3G. It's going to cost you 3 times what you were paying before. Now we've got 4G. That's 3 times more money, but you've got to have it.
We're doing 5G. We're doing 5G. The line is still, you know, the line of the capacity. Technological advancements are only just keeping ahead of our usage. Only just. You know, these are 2 lines that are coming perilously close to each other.
We're all marketers here. We know that, you know, supply and demand, that's quite normal. Demand will grow, hopefully. That's what we call a growth market. It leads the market to have room to grow. If demand stops, that's it. Yeah. All you can do then is start competing on the lowest price. You know, it starts eating itself, the industry. Demand has to grow for the market to be booming.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. I mean, the figures on mobile are insane. Usage figures are absolutely insane. And you're right. It's Google and Netflix are driving it all. It's all video traffic.
Well, and for the cable ISPs, the problem they have is that
they see the writing on the wall. That at some point, the cable companies are going to say, you know what, you've ridden on our back too long. You got to start paying part of the freight.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one reason for the cable company saying that would be that when they're acting as an ISP, they are no longer selling it. For a lot of us, like me, they're not selling us cable service anymore, because you know what, we're streaming instead using the connection to the internet we're buying from them.
Everything is changing, and that's why they've got to change the law. Like, I'm not going to say that. Just I've seen that a lot. You and I, there's a lot of us here have seen a lot of things happen on the web and the way they evolve. A lot of times, all the drama is about nothing.
Yeah, it's just greed. It's just greed from those ISPs who were making huge amounts of money. I mean, here in the UK, almost none of
capitalism.
Here in the UK, almost none of the companies actually invest in infrastructure. They just rent the lines off of British Telecom. And then they say how much cheaper they are than British Telecom. But they're renting off of British Telecom in the first place. It's the law that was changed to allow them to do that. But they're not investing. They're not building tomorrow's network. They're not laying any extra fiber optic cable. One of the reasons I like Virgin is Virgin run their own cable. I am completely separate. Whereas almost every other provider in this country, if BT's network goes down, so does everybody, because they all just hire the lines off of BT. Mine is actually separate.
Ours is separate.
I definitely
what happened to the idea that Google was going to run fiber everywhere?
Exactly.
They realized that it wasn't economically feasible.
I've got the figures for you actually. Here you go. So data usage grew 71% last year across our network. And video usage accounts for 1/3 of all data traffic now across the Vodafone network.
Yeah, I definitely think it's fair and reasonable that BT, for instance, having invested in infrastructure, should not have to give free access to that infrastructure to any Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes along and wants to stream stuff. They should be paying for that access. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but
but what is not fair is that I should be getting billed for my bandwidth consumption, and my ISP should be getting billed, or should be billing Netflix or YouTube for my bandwidth consumption. Let's just talk about the cable. Give me access to the hub, and I'll pay you this much a month. That's fair.
Ta-da! That's what I think will happen.
Well, then I think that's very reasonable.
Well,
and that's
sure,
the problem
they're paying their share.
They've basically been forced to give them free access, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, Doug. For example, we cut the cable like 7 years ago around here. You know what I mean? So everything we watch on TV, any movies, anything we do is all streamed, which is your normal. But I'm saving myself $150, $200 a month. So I don't mind, stepping that up another $50 a month or whatever, because it's still saving me money over having to pay for cable. But I probably use far more bandwidth than anybody else in my neighborhood.
Yep.
Plus, it's a tax write-off, so what do I care?
No, it'll have to change though. I mean, like I said, I think the tipping point will come with quad play, because this is a strategy that every telco has. When quad play comes in, and you have a partnership.
Okay, so does 4K streaming make a difference?
No, I mean 4K is still that's going to be more demands on the network. No, I think,
that's what I'm saying. So with the rise of 4K programs, 4K there's a whole 4K section on Netflix, and I got a 4K TV and all that shit. And, I would imagine that's got to be higher bandwidth, no?
Yeah, no, it will be. Yeah, but a lot more pressure. I mean, everyone's just getting used to really high res video, and that's why the data usage is growing so much. But I think the tipping point will come with quad play, because once you have those content partnerships, then they'll do they'll have one person or a group of companies they have a relationship with. They'll then zero rate all that content, which means that we don't charge the customer for any of that content. It doesn't count towards their bandwidth allowance. So they can just go crazy, and you've seen some testing of that already happening in a few places. So they can then unlimited. They'll be streaming stuff, doing whatever they like, but that will then impact massively on the network, and they'll have to throttle everything else.
Yeah, but a lot of it is still about territory. There's a lot of companies looking at how much money Google are making and trying to work out how they can force themselves a slice of it. And YouTube is an easy part to leverage there. But even there, YouTube doesn't even create the content. That is the users. The people have uploaded that, and that means that people paid for an ISP that gave them enough bandwidth to upload, and they paid for an ISP that gave them enough bandwidth to download and watch. They've already paid. If you're not charging enough, adjust your rates. You don't need a change in the law. You just need to stop trying to undercut your competition to the point where you're not making enough money. When they try and change it by law, it means they know full well they're already charging a fair amount, but now they want to actually change it so that the politicians take the blame for it getting more expensive rather than them. Which brings us back to Brexit all over again, really.
We're going to lose Harry if we talk politics. He's got that.
You know, I do sometimes think it's a bit like, you know, if the cinemas suddenly decided to sue Netflix because, you know, they've got empty seats now, and you know, look, anytime you show a movie, you should hire at least 5 seats in every cinema because that's the traffic you're taking, and it's unfair to cinemas. No, look, the world moved on. It's a different model.
All right. We got 10 minutes left here, so I'm going to round this back around again, rope it up. Because this Friday we're gonna just have a party and get drunk, but next Friday we're gonna do like a year-end review, and you know there's gonna be Monday morning a whole shit ton of fucking posts about the year that was, what to do in SEO 2018, all that kind of crap. We know every fucking year we get this. So where's everyone thinking 2018? Like me, almost business as usual, but I know there's going to be a scourge of posts talking about the new thing or what you need to do, or you know, like remember, like I was saying earlier in the green room. I remember 2007, 2008 when mobile, everyone was like, oh yeah, mobile will be the thing. Then it wasn't. Then 2009, it was mobile will be the thing, and then it wasn't. Then then finally mobile came around. You know what I mean? So everyone predicted it for like years, and so.
Oh, next year is going to be the year for mobile, definitely. People are going to realise
but it already is the year for mobile, so it's just going to expand.
Yeah, but
more of AMP, more site speed, more of you know, mobile readiness.
But then, we're going to get the first sites that are mobile first, because we're going to know that they're mobile first. So that's going to push people, because they're going to realise this is something.
But I think that's almost intuitive for this group here. So what else? Like, do you think structured data will? Do you think structured data will start to rise more? You know, where are we going to see it?
I think people are going to.
Video doesn't matter because if Google doesn't put a video universal in, you're talking about YouTube. That's not Google. So.
No, I'm talking about consumption and how people interact with it, and I think it's going to be more and more.
Yeah, for sure. But you don't sell shit through a video. They still got to go to your website, and if they see you on a video, that's just like being on Pinterest or something. That's an initial contact point, which they will go and search a company on Google or whatever, and then come from there. You know what I mean? Like it's still just an initial contact
I get
point.
my highest conversion rates off of video.
Yeah, but you're selling SEO courses. That has nothing to do with the real world.
Right.
Well, no,
So,
I have multiple
zero.
I don't just do SEO.
I'm saying.
well,
Okay, but none of my clients would benefit with the amount of cost it would take to make videos and actually get somewhere and make money. They do better on Pinterest. And Pinterest, we don't have to do shit, but put, you know, pictures on our site, which we do anyways. I mean, the ROI on Pinterest is far higher than YouTube any day of the week.
World Music Supply over 1 million views on that YouTube channel. They quit doing PPC, and all their rankings are pretty well for YouTube videos.
Right, but again, this is not a, you know, it may be a consumption element, but back to
you
Google.
asked for my opinion, David. I'll just give
Yeah, cool. And I was talking about Google, not YouTube. So video unis don't show up a lot.
So I see 2018 being the year of structured data spam.
All right, so links aren't working, so they're going to go there next.
I figure at some point Google is going to say structured data helps rankings, and once they say that,
we're done.
Mock up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already know
It's going
that.
to be a lot like that, though.
Why did Google tell me that? You should already know that and have figured that out.
People will be scanning it, but it won't be working, but it will take them years to notice that it's not working. A bit like most link spammers right now.
there are so many people who spam my blog comments because my blog is on do follow lists on forums. People follow those links. They never check to see if they're do followed or not followed. They just spam them.
Yeah. Well, you remember all the things we went through with Creator Site to make sure that those links not only couldn't pass value, but wouldn't be seen to pass value by idiots. I mean,
Right.
we reversed the URLs so that it actually wrote the URL backwards when it had the query string with the thing in. The redirect script, any link you put in went through a redirect script on our thing. So that the redirect script itself was robot text blocked. It was in a part of the site that the search engines couldn't get that. When it gets there, the URL was written backwards and only reversed at the last second. I mean, we did everything, and people were still spamming links, thinking it was going to help their SEO.
I don't have a yellow pages for my phone book, but I have a blog that's filled with business listings in my comments.
Yeah, for some reason it was handbags and sunglasses for mine. I just took down the comments area in the end. People know how to get in touch with me if they want a conversation. You know, there's plenty of social media.
I like comments, but not the ones I've been getting lately.
There's
No,
no real.
comments are
Okay,
more
okay.
work than ever.
Well, Chase ran off on us because apparently he was upset with me. So let's address let's address it. You just go and try and get an everyday average client to invest in video production. It is incredibly costly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can hire a content writer to plump out a blog post for a couple $100. Once you get, a video, someone to take the video in with a high quality camera, you get somebody to edit the stuff, then you get someone to publish it, then you have to build a following, then you have to. The ROI in that stuff is horrendous. Like, I appreciate it. Terry, you're talking about the guitar people, I assume?
Yeah. They had
they had a good following. They've got a good placement. They got a good following. But to build up to that level, and guitar is something good too, because you can give lessons. You can show that here's the latest Gibson and here's how it sounds and works. Some things lend itself to that. But your average, to cookie cutter it and say that, video is the new thing in 2018.
That worked in that particular.
Yeah, right. And I think he's just trying to push the idea because it's working for him, because he's selling SEO courses, that's going to work for every client. I've tried that. I've literally, when I'm doing content strategy for clients, I always say, hey, would you like to do video? They say, well, what's it going to cost me? Then I start getting into the whole production process and what it's going to cost you to get that thing out there, then build up that following and everything else. It's not a short-term ROI. Let's put it that way.
No. And even with the market, you've got to look at scalability and stuff like that. Great. You're selling one man's courses. Great. Could you keep Yale in business just through video marketing? They're selling courses. Could you keep Yale in business just through video? No. And these things all have to play in. There's a lot you can do with video. I haven't met a client I couldn't.
And your demographic. Does your demographic go to YouTube and search stuff? You know what I mean? Like, I got a client selling. I got a client selling jewelry safes. I'm pretty. Today she was asking. Yesterday in a meeting she was asking, should I take the word home off my menu, because older people, which is my demographic, like me, don't even know what that means. I was like, that demographic's certainly not going to be on YouTube looking for a jewelry safe. It's not a logical, place to go. And none of my query spaces have video universals, so it's kind of meaningless. Again, it's always this ubiquitous. When I was talking about 2018, I meant things that were ubiquitous across all of our sites that you could implement, like if it's structured data, if it's, mobile readiness, whatever. But you can't just say video, it's the way to go. And again, we're going to get a whole bunch of these posts next week. I can see it now. It's last week of the year, man. It's going to be full of them, man.
Okay, let's see what I can say without creating an issue where people jump on the wrong thing. For you lot, think of this not in terms of traffic, but in terms of branding. Video is fantastic for branding, and not just on YouTube, but the videos you put on your site, and particularly the people you can hire relatively cheaply to be in those videos. A B-list celebrity can be yours for the whole day of filming for about $1,500, $2,000. That's nothing compared to what that does for you. A B-list TV celebrity here is about £500 for a day. It's much more expensive to get the video team in, but again, about £2,000, I can get a professional video team in.
Right.
That is
I was going to say that's about what your production costs will be on the back end. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but production, there
that
are
is under £3,000. Under £3,000, I can create some really meaningful content with a face people recognise and go, "Oh my god!" Because it's a scale they haven't seen before. They haven't seen people do this online, and it is memorable and it does branding. And we know that branding does great things for your SEO.
Yeah,
if you're getting
I have no problem.
back to it. So
but again, I was talking SEO, not really. You know, I think he was just talking marketing, whereas I was really saying, you know, SEO wise, like to come along to my clients as an SEO and go, hey, we got to pump out a bunch of videos because we're going to rank, and you know, that most of the query spaces I'm in with my clients don't have video universals, and the demographics not exactly.
Yeah, but for me, when I see that, if I see a universal cert that does not have a video, that's what I'm going to be, that's going to be top of my list for content and figuring out a way to do it. Even if it's a video where I make a basically PowerPoint thing and turn it into a video. And I've done that with a few clients and it works just as good.
One that's quite nice, Terry, is actually to do a video that is a quick video review of the top 10 sites in the SERPs. You'll be amazed how well that works.
Sure. People watch videos for a lot of reasons. For instance, if I'm looking for programming information, I sometimes like to see the actual programmer writing the stuff out so I can see all his code and everything. Like, to me, YouTube is like.
And so, what did you buy off that video first? Anything, or you just sucked up their information? What did you buy from them?
What?
Did they make that video just for you to be happy? What was his name? Let's check the branding. What was his name? What was the channel? Did you subscribe from it? Did you buy anything from him? Or did he just make that video for you to go watch?
I'm sorry. I don't understand the question.
Okay, you said you like it when you see a video of a programmer doing this and that so you can actually see it.
Yeah, and him describing the code.
Right. But my point is I'm being Terry right now. What did you buy from him? How did you convert? Do you remember his name? Did the branding stick to you? No. You just went and sucked up his information and walked away, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, just being Terry here, you know, I'm just saying.
Well, I have seen it work selling wise. For instance,
no, I know it does work, and it depends on the niche of the market.
It's like Facebook, where some things work and some things don't. Like I know why the video worked with the music, because
remember we worked on the hot tubs. Remember we worked on the hot tub, guys. Video works there. How to maintain your hot tub, how to clean your motor, how do you do this and that. Like those kind of videos, I think work in that market, but it just isn't a ubiquitous thing across that I can say, hey, let's go do. It's very query dependent.
I agree.
There's always a why. There is always a why. That's why I love this job. It's why I love marketing. There is always a why. And
a lot of times your limitations are your own imagination.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my belief. Anything I can conceive and believe I can do. So anyhow.
And this is the right time of year to be talking about immaculate conceptions.
You killed me.
Hey, Dave, I don't know if this is the kind of thing you're looking for in terms of a 2018 prediction list, but I think we're going to see more and more attempts by Google to keep searchers from going to websites and keep them on the search results page by means of by expanding the search, the knowledge panel, and anything else.
I'll just throw that out for Bill and say Orion.
I don't understand that.
Okay, there was a guy, Ori Alon, back 2003, I guess it was, Bill, maybe something like that.
Yeah, 2004, 2005. Yeah.
Is that what it was? Okay, yeah. And he had written some papers and stuff in university that was called no-click searching, meaning that essentially, like there's a lot more to it, but essentially that the search engine gives you the answer itself. You know what I mean? And obviously the SEO world kind of shit itself when people like Bill started and myself started writing about it. Because obviously if they're not going to your website, how are you going to make money and so on and so on. So I think that, yeah, I'd agree, but I think that's been ongoing, and I don't think we're going to see that backtracked anytime soon.
I think it's going to increase. I think they're going to put more and more functionality into the knowledge panel.
We were talking about hockey. No, but not even the knowledge panel. Like we were talking about hockey earlier, because Terry and I are Canadians. We talk hockey. 6 months ago, if I put NHL standings into Google, it would come up with the standings, but if I wanted more, I'd click on that standings. It would take me off to the NHL site. No longer. Google now has its own NHL standings list, and that's it. You don't even end up on the NHL site. So slowly but surely, even in the SERPs, never mind knowledge panels, even in the SERPs, they're starting to take over little pieces and niches and markets.
So a friend of mine sent me a link to a website and said, when is the horse race that this website was built to promote? When is the horse race happening? I can't find it on the website.
Oh,
and I said, they should have put that in structured data in an event. And she said, well, that means you wouldn't even go to the website to see the date. I said, yeah, but they were trying to get people to go to the event, not to the website.
Well, probably a good chance now that related to that, they'd have where you could buy tickets to that event if you had it on your website, also in structured data as an option.
Yeah, there may be a chance to buy the tickets through Knowledge Panel.
Right.
Okay, we need to do the fastest ever round of what people are up to in the next week. Bill, what are you up to this week?
I'm going to try to write some blog posts.
That'll be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Are any of them about patents, just for a change?
I'm thinking about it, yeah.
Dave?
I'm going to spend some quality time with Ammon. Other than that,
you better have sexy underwear on if I'm getting knocked for you.
Oh, see, wife says you better wear something sexy if she's getting tossed out for you. Wow, video is involved, people. Nothing. I'm just putting out fires, and Friday we're having a bit of a dojo Christmas party in our hangout. Ammon, you're invited. I'll send you a link now that you're back out and alive, and that's about it, folks.
Cool. Nick?
Well, yeah, I'm still fixing stuff. All my managers are away, so it's a really good time to get stuff done. So, yeah, I'll try and make some progress this week, and yeah. So I'm just. It's like Dave says. I'm just. There's a lot of normal stuff that needs fixing, and it's pretty much getting the normal stuff done. So that's what I'll get on with.
Well, plus the break's coming, so you know what I mean. It's we got like 3 days. It's like I'm slowing down. I'm not working as hard this week, and
yeah,
next week I'm taking off. So
absolutely, yeah, same as. I mean, but I do a combination of kind of fixing stuff that needs to be fixed. It's not exciting, and then doing the voice search stuff that gets everyone excited. That doesn't really make a lot of money.
That's my prediction for 2018. Branding, I said a couple of years ago, and it still is. Most people still haven't done what they should be doing on it, but that was the big trend. It's still rolling out. It will be for a few years, but this year, you should be looking at voice search, at ways of manipulating it, at ways of making sure that your brand is benefiting from voice search. That people are speaking.
Did you see the Just Eat? Did you see the Just Eat one?
Yeah,
which I thought was brilliant. So, and we did an Alexa skill. It took half a day to make. It's easy.
Yeah, well, Domino's Pizza, they're doing a very similar thing. Suggesting what you should say to Alexa, and then they'll handle it all from there.
It's
Terry,
convenient.
what are you up to this week? What are you up to, Terry?
Me, I'll be. I'm about 90% done post on disambiguation in certs. Been something I've been looking at for a long time. I have some theories about what happened with a lot of certs that people think were hit by what was called the possum update. I think they're chasing their tails. It was a number of things, and probably very few of them were pointed right at local. It's very interesting, especially when you look at those query spaces in particular. I had a lot of fun with Panthers and Jaguars and.
Oh, that's mine. Come on, man. Bill's the White House. I'm the Jaguar. The fuck, man?
You'll enjoy it because they have pretty well figured that out.
Bill stole my query space, man. He was always the White House. He used it the other day. That's his. White House is his favorite. I always did the Jaguar, man.
Yeah, I do Thunderbird. Anyway, Terry, I'm glad that you're getting to grips with disambiguation because it's always been so hard to tell what you think about things. You're so reserved. You sit on the fence so often.
That's true.
That's what I love about Terry in a hangout, especially when you got some people that don't know him or something. Like he sits there quiet and he's like typing or watching the news. He looks up and he knows he's about to start talking to you like, oh God. It's like, oh Jesus, duck, everybody duck.
Tim, what are you up to?
Finishing up a project for a client, and then enjoying time with family, enjoying time off, and maybe getting the books closed out for the tax year. So that's me through the end of the year, probably.
Yep. Well, thanks everyone for being here. As usual, we'll probably carry on talking in the green room for a little while. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. And we look
Merry
forward to
Christmas, everyone. Oh, I guess we're not doing one next Tuesday, huh? So Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
See you in 2 weeks, everybody.